Warzone Cold War Season 1 release. So, guys, on December 16th, Call of Duty fans received the Season 1 update. I've played it. It's been interesting to get into, and this really integrated Warzone and Cold War into single game. It introduced new weapons, new skins, game modes, and a new map in Rebirth Island. The update was extensive, almost too extensive potentially, created some overpowered weapons, and also came with a few bugs. So I'm interested, Tony, should Call of Duty have merged those two games? And what do you think is next for the Warzone franchise?
Should they have merged them? We talked about this earlier, Trey. We played for the first time last night as a trio, us three. And so having played Blackout about a year ago actually about 2 years ago, actually. Great game. They added an island, Alcatraz Island, which is the Rebirth Island. Basically, same thing. Looks a lot better on Warzone, but same exact thing. Fans were always, requesting a different map, changes to the map or expanded areas, things like that. Kind of like with Warzone. It's big enough that you can deal with it, but at the same time, it's like the same thing over and over and over again. And then with Blackout, all they really did is they took buildings that you couldn't get into and allowed you to get into them. So they changed it, but they didn't really add new areas. So with the new release that they did, I think it's okay. I mean, I don't play the anything other than Warzone with it. I enjoy the big battlefield area. So that's where I kind of look at it. In the future, man, I wish they would put a new map. I wish we'd get a whole entirely new map in general. I don't think it's going to happen because it didn't happen with Blackout. The Rebirth Island is going to be their version of an additional map. And I mean, it's still pretty cool. It's just not personally what I would prefer, but I don't know, Trey, what do you think?
So I agree. I think they had a date that they were going to merge it. And then it's kind of weird because it's like Season 1, it's Cold War Season 1, but we were on Warzone Season 6. I think they probably put too many guns and merged too many things, and we're seeing with the unbalanced and overpowered weapons with the DMR and the MAC-10, and a lot of frustration. There's still a ton of hackers, which we see a lot of the professionals obviously being very vocal about. When we die, we don't really know if it's just somebody better than us or a hacker. But I think it's interesting because what are they going to do? What's the model? Again, I know I was talking about that with the streaming service too, but what's their model going forward? Because Cold War wasn't very well received. There wasn't anything in Cold War that I don't want to say that anybody really cared about, but there's nobody that was playing Warzone that went to go play Cold War and stayed there. They went and they did, they wanted to unlock the weapon skins and do the challenges, and then they've come back since it's Warzone. So what would be interesting is, do they scrap the games every year and do they just go to a Warzone model? I don't think they'll do this, by the way, because there's too much revenue. Do they just go to a Warzone model where instead of spending time developing the new game, they're actually developing new maps for Warzone and keeping that battle royale style? So, there's two different companies involved in the development, so I think they could still do that, but maybe they could do something where they're doing a little bit more of a split where one company is working on, the multiplayer and the next technically game, and the other company is only working on Warzone updates, because what players want is new guns, updates to the maps, new areas, new maps, and from Activision's standpoint, when they merge all these guns into Warzone, if I'm only worried about money, then I'm just thinking about, well, how do I sell the next skin, right? How do I sell the new DMR skin or the new MAC-10 skin, or it was the Bruin, or it was a Grouse? So, those skins run $20. Can you imagine how much money they're making off of that? So Activision is a large company. They're focused on money, no doubt. But it'd be interesting to see what they can do based on what the community would like to see, maybe versus just what's going to get their pockets bigger. So.
Yeah, so I've played the update pretty extensively. It's a lot. I think it's too many, in my opinion, too many guns, too many new additions at once. I think, to your point, Trey, it's difficult to balance when you're introducing that many things, especially as you're merging two different games. It'll be interesting to see where they take it. I do feel like that Battle Royale is the future. They're going to have to figure out how to build around that. They've clearly come up with a really good way to monetize it. The fact they gave that game away for free and then brought these gamers into the fold that way was really, really smart. And And I've seen the same thing that you've seen, Trey. It doesn't look like that there's a lot of passion out there for Cold War. The passion is really for Warzone. I think some iteration of that in the future, and they're gonna have to expand on it, but I see Warzone itself becoming a franchise for them for years to come. And I think everything is gonna need to really revolve around that. And I do think they need to listen to the pros a little bit more. I think that the pros, in my opinion, have a lot of really good ideas about how to try to balance the weapons a little bit more. They're the first to identify when something needs to be nerfed. And I think that they drive a huge aspect of the gaming community, right? People watch them stream. People are following them on Twitter, on YouTube. And so I think that they need to listen. The hacking that you talked about, the hackers are out of control. They've got to do something about that. They've got to balance the weapons a little bit more. And I really think that the pros should have a little bit bigger voice when it comes to that. But so far, it sounds like it's been pretty mixed on this update.
I do want to say, and I do want to give them credit, and obviously none of us played Fortnite that I'm aware of, but man, there hasn't been a game that us three got together and played since Gears of War 2.
Right.
And we've been playing it for 8 months, and I can't remember a game that I've had more fun just playing with my friends. Like, that was the reason that I bought a PS4 and an Xbox and built a freaking gaming computer. So I don't know, we'll see what happens with it, but regardless, I think it's been a really cool experience to get back into it, and even just that was kind of our ritual 3 or 4 nights a week, playing for a couple hours. And like I said, when was the last time we did that? 10 years ago or something like that. So
it's been amazing.
Yeah, even I think I read that the next Halo is supposed to have its own battle royale mod to it now. Man. So I mean, everyone's kind of jumping on the bandwagon, which I'm cool with. I love that game. It's awesome. Yeah,
your
really
lives matter when you're playing that game.
But it's also about going back to, and we're going to wrap this up in a second, Trey, but going back to your comment on the movie theater side, it's about the experience, right? And I think Battle Royale, especially team-based Battle Royale, creates a memorable experience that's unique within gaming. And we've played tons of multiplayer games, all of us have, all the way back to your point, Gears of War, and even we talked about, even farther back to the Xbox X-Band era. So we've been playing multiplayer for a really long time on PC and on consoles. Yeah. And I think Warzone's been one of the most compelling and immersive experiences that any of us have ever had. So I think there's something to be said about that. So good comments, guys. All right, so switching gears to sports.